Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's Friday night. It's 8 o'clock. We're live from lockdown. Let's see who we've got in the house. We've got Matthew, Kieran, Poulter. Good evening. Rob, Gernaldinho, Retro Red Steve. That mean you won't be watching this back Monday? I normally rely on you for a good few view hours, to be honest. Stu, 2 UK, and Russ, the Retro Bear. Hope you're all well. It's been a long week this week for me, man. I don't know why. Work's not been exceptionally hard enough. Nerdy Geezer, good evening. I'm having a beer tonight. Last week I didn't have a beer because I had my jab. Sean, Horatio, but I'm going to have basically, I've got no pop in the house, so I couldn't even have a non-alcoholic drink if I wanted to. Some of you may have seen my truck driving stream. Let's just show that. It'll be in my next pickups anyway. I'm enjoying playing this, and it's weird because basically truck driver is a simulator of being a truck driver, so I like come home from being at work to then play a game where I'm at work, but it's quite satisfying for some reason. Paul's in Retro Bait and Cy, Ginger Hippie Gaming. Might talk about a stream that me and Cy was watching earlier from Craig Turner. Not looking positive on the events going forward. Bill in the UK, that guy in the corner. I always love saying his name. So anyway, you've not come here to listen to me waffle. Scott, good evening. You never come here to listen to me waffle. You're always here for my guests. That's what I always get. Someone who's much more interesting and a much better tuber than I am to have on as a guest. So I'll bring him in. A lot of you know him from a long time ago. And it's Pete Snestastic, a.k.a. the Amico Kid. Good evening, Pete.
How's it going, Dana?
I'm good, mate. You?
Yeah, not bad, same old.
So to start off with, what I've been doing with everyone lately is a bit of This Is Your Life YouTube style. And I was really, really surprised because you're the longest serving person I've looked up so far. Your first video was on August the 3rd, 2009. Yeah. Do you remember what that video was?
The very first one I'm not sure. It's one or two. It's either the one that I edited badly with Windows, where it's like the top 10 SNES games, or it's the one I did on the phone, which was absolutely terrible quality on video in my collection.
It's the top 10 SNES games.
It is.
Literally, you started your YouTube account that day, so you literally logged onto YouTube and loaded up a video that day, whereas like people like myself, we've and Stu Tootie, we've had our accounts for years before we've done a video, whereas you opened an account and uploaded a video straight away.
Yeah, well, I had a previous account. I can't remember what the name was now. Something random like Emo Monkey or some bullshit like that I had. And that was the one I was using just to chat with like X-File and the rest of them that are doing videos already. So when I decided to make the leap, I just decided to create a new account.
All right, that's fair enough. I mean, that's why I created my account, was so I could comment, because if you didn't have an account years ago, you couldn't comment, and then it brought in the adult verification. You couldn't watch certain content. But some more statistics for you. You've got 5,180 subs approximately. Yeah, it doesn't let me know the exact number. Uploads. Do you know how many uploads you've got?
I think it's over 1,100. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah. 1,169 uploads.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
Do you know how many views in total you've got? Because this is really interesting.
I've not checked. It was over 1 million about 2 years ago or something. I don't know. I haven't looked for a long time.
1.4 million, just
Holy
over.
Shit.
That's a lot of views.
Yeah.
Daily, you're getting about 154 views. Weekly, just over 1,000. You've got. We'll get to it later. We've got some particular videos that did exceptionally well, so we'll talk about them a little bit later. We've got our first question.
Oh, is it Stu? Yeah.
But Pete, does he have any other shirts other than crossed hatch ones? I quickly scanned through all your videos, and I was expecting you to be wearing your red one tonight, if I'm honest.
Well, that's weird, because I was going to wear that, but then I saw this one sitting on the side, and I thought that'll do. So.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
There was a period, like when you first started out, the red one was a popular one for sure.
Yeah, I need to do some shopping. I promise I spent all my money on games, didn't I? So, yeah.
I find it quite ironic because Stu has got one of the worst dress senses of anyone who I've ever met. Anyway, so he kept saying anything like that.
And so, how many bests has he got? Yeah.
He'll take the mickey out of me because I wear skinny jeans, that's for sure. But you know,
You wear skinny jeans?
I wear skinny jeans. Yeah.
Oh, that's criminal. That's wrong.
Skinny ripped jeans is my thing. So some of your video styles, especially early on, was sharing your collections. I've got noted down here your SNES, your N64, and your Xbox with some of your early collections. So just tell us what you got into YouTube and what you was not doing it for, but you know where the journey began, sort of thing.
Right. So basically, from what I can remember, anyway, back in 2009, I think YouTube was 2006 when it began. I think that's when it opened.
It probably was, yeah. It was really short, viral videos mainly back then, though, rather than like a video format, I think.
That's it. Well, basically, what happened was a friend of the family was doing videos, and he was doing some. I don't know exactly, but it's some kind of music mashup thing where you mash the video and the audio together. And he'd been quite successful. And back then, obviously, no one really understood what the hell YouTube was all about. And I remember my dad showing me a video from some American guy, and he mentioned our friend on the video, and we were both blown away because it was like, you know, this is so unusual. It was like, holy shit, he knows who he is. And we was talking about it, and I never really thought about going on YouTube. And I was having a look at some of the retro guys, watching some of their collections, leaving comments, getting involved. And then one night, just driving home, my dad said to me, maybe you should give it a try. And I thought, I mean, at this point, I had absolutely zero confidence. You know, I didn't have photos taken, wouldn't go on video, wouldn't do anything. But I thought, why not just, as you saw, that top 10 SNES was the first thing I did, just sort of post something like that, just see how it goes. That seemed to do okay. Then I got a really crap phone. There was no smartphones at the time, so it was just some cheap phone I had, like a Nokia or something. In fact, no, it wasn't. I just remember what phone it was. It was a little black Sony Ericsson as it was then. Are they still Sony Ericsson now? I don't know if they are. If they even that. Yeah.
I think they've dropped the Ericsson, ain't they?
They haven't they? Yeah. It's I don't know. It's the one that Bond uses now, isn't it? I can't remember what it's called. Is it Feo? Or no, it's the laptops. Doesn't really matter.
I haven't got. To be honest, I haven't bought a Sony phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Into the 90s, probably. I had the flip Razor, the Sony Ericsson Razor, or something like that.
Well, I used that crap phone. It must have been like megapixels. It was like the video was awful. You know, you look at it now, it's so bad. And I just sort of chucked the games on the floor, did a quick video, went, you know, here's what I've got. Because basically, I've been collecting since 2003 at that point. But then I moved down south, so I sold most of my collection off just to get some money together. So I had a couple of American SNES games, and I don't know. I don't think there's anything else in that video. I'm not sure. I know there was Super Star Wars in there. And that's the reason I really got started there. I just thought, well, just see what happens. And you can hear my voice in that video, how nervous I am. And I can't remember if I did another video after that and then jumped into doing on-camera stuff or just jumped straight in. I can't remember. But yeah, the on-camera video was terrible, the first one, because I was absolutely shitting myself. But, you know, I'm still here and it's worked out quite well, you know. Yeah, that's really the reason I got into it. What was the other part of the comp? What else you asked me?
Just like, you know, where you was you expecting to get involved in like-minded people? Is that like the sort of thing you were looking to do?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I mean, like a lot of people who've been on YouTube a long time in the retro community will say, at that time, I was collecting games I've been collecting for like 6 years on and off, and I didn't know anyone that did this. I thought, you know, it's a typical thing where it's like, oh, am I the only person doing it? So I went on YouTube, found other collectors, and found out I wasn't. I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I started making my own videos, and I got into the community side of things, which was really what I enjoyed the most about YouTube. Back then, it was completely different. You could do private messages. You could add videos underneath your videos where people had done tag responses and just responded to your video, so you could build a community properly. And it's fantastic, and you didn't have thumbs up, thumb down, all that bullshit. It was a proper 5-star rating system, which I thought was a lot fairer, actually. And it was just a massive community, and it was an international community, which was what I liked. There was a lot of us like over here doing it, but then there's a lot of Americans getting involved, and the Americans that got involved, they weren't like these ones that think they're on cable access. It was just like normal Americans like us, and so it was a real cool community that was building up, and that's the main reason I stuck at it and just kept going. And people kept saying, oh, you know, I like the videos, and the subs kept coming, and I thought, oh, this is pretty cool. I mean, YouTube's changed a lot over the years. It's not at all like it was back then.
I was just about to say it almost sounds like it was a much smaller pond back
Yeah.
then. It seems like it was easier to find other people who were interested. Whereas, I mean, someone who starts out a channel now, it could take them a while to get spotted because there's that many fish in the sea. If that makes sense, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now, as you know, nowadays you have to deal with the algorithm, so it's more a case if you start a new channel, you've got to still do, I think, the traditional thing where you go around and watch other people that make the same sort of content and leave comments, because it's the only way you're really going to get noticed. You know, you can't just pop a video up and hope people will watch it because it's not going to happen. But yeah, back then it was very much community orientated. Everyone was making videos daily, which kept it alive and made you want to make videos, and it was more exciting. And we're always commenting on each other's videos. And as I say, if you did like a community question, for instance, and people started doing video responses, they could leave that video underneath your video. I don't know if they could do it or you had to attach it, but either way, you could go onto a video and there'd be multiple videos underneath it. So, you know, you get stuck in that cycle of YouTube then where you watch the one, watch the next one, watch the next one, and you start finding new channels to subscribe to, because now we have to just really rely on like shout outs, which, you know, is good, but it's not as instant.
They've kind of pushed it towards a playlist now, because I've noticed.
Yeah.
Like, if, like, say, I know Rob Gernaldinho does it with his Fighting with Five Lives. Anyone who makes a video, he adds it to the playlist. But they're a lot harder to discover than, like, obviously, if they were tagged and you were watching that video and the next video that automatically played would come up, sort of thing. Whereas I'm guessing with Rob's, if you just watched his Fighting with Five Lives, it wouldn't automatically send you to that playlist, if that makes sense.
Right. I didn't even know you could do that, to be honest.
You can still do a similar sort of thing, but I don't think it's as beneficial as what that tagging system used to be.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube then wasn't even owned by Google, so whoever was owning it, who created YouTube, they were definitely focusing more on community, as I say, because even like the simple thing like no thumbs up and thumbs down, because that just causes aggravation. The 5-star rating I thought was a lot fairer, because it didn't allow for people to just be dickheads and constantly thumb down videos like it does now. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like even though YouTube has gone in a completely different direction, and it's a lot more corporate, a lot more about selling your soul for $1. There's still a lot of us across the world, in fact, not just in the UK, who are still just small hobbyists doing it for fun. And I think that's really what I seek out the most. I don't really watch those big channels.
No, and I get what you're saying with like the American channels. There's like two extremes. It's either I want to be on cable TV, or it's a guy sat in his shed or a games room. It's very much like us. There seems to be no like middle ground. It's either one or other sort of thing.
Yeah.
We have got the first Amico question of the night coming up. If you
are we going to do questions on that first before actually talking about it? Okay, cool.
Well, if a question comes up, I'm going to ask it. It's,
go for it.
On the Amico, so it's
okay. Scott.
What does Snestastic think of the Amico delay?
I've actually posted a video last week about that, but yeah, I'm fine with it because I knew it was coming. Unless you follow it daily, you don't know all the information I assume, and I do. I follow it like every single day. I'm checking for new information. I'm always in the loop. So I was well aware it's going to happen. And to be honest, with the global pandemic, the way it's gone, and the chip shortage, and like everybody from Ford to Sony to Microsoft to Nintendo to Samsung, LG, any company you want to think of, they're all having trouble getting their products out. So it was expected. So I'm absolutely fine. We'll see what happens in October. At the moment, you don't know, do you? Because I mean, we're doing well with the vaccine. Everything's going well over here. I think it's going okay in America. So if it starts to turn around, then we should all get unlocked, and then hopefully they'll be able to get it out in October. But I'm not exactly going to just sit here and say, oh yeah, it's definitely coming out in October, because I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the next 6 months, you know what I mean?
I'll say from my little bit of delving into the Amico is he, I want to pronounce his name right, Tommy Tallarico.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. He's really putting himself out there, like speaking to other YouTubers, talking about the whole Amico project, and they're being pretty, like, no sooner they know of any sort of delay, they're putting it out there, they're not hiding it, sort of thing. Like, as everyone knows, we had with the Paprium saga, with like, no one even knew it was coming, and then it turned up. At least these guys are doing regular updates, so although they're disappointing updates, at least you're getting updates, and they're not just burying their heads in the sand and hoping it'll go away, sort of thing.
Well, I've been following the Amico since 2018, and Tommy's done that right from the beginning. He's tried to be as open and honest as he can. Sometimes he's way too honest, and I think he could have reined it back a little bit. But you know, I appreciate and I like the fact that he does do that. He just, if something's happening, he'll tell you what's happening. And you get a lot of pushback on some of the videos they've been putting out with the gameplays, and people slag off the games and they say, "Oh, they look like Flash games, they don't look good quality." And it's like, yeah, but that's because you haven't followed the Amico, which I understand. If you just randomly find a video, you're going to go, "Well, that don't look that good." But Tommy's trying to do a diary, basically. He's trying to create a diary for the future when the product's successful to look back on. And for us fans who are following it at the moment, he's really just trying to show us the development cycle, which is something that like the big companies like Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo haven't done. So you're getting to see, as the Americans like to say, you get to see how the sausage is made. I like that one.
It's an unusual saying. So we've got no more Amico questions. We have got another couple of questions. One's from Stu.
Cool.
For Pete, biggest seller and then buyer regret. So something you've sold that you regret selling, and then something you've bought that you regret buying, sort of thing. Like,
right. Well, I mean, if I was the biggest seller issue, would probably be the Super Nintendo collection. That was, I had to do it. I didn't have a choice. But yeah, that stung, because I'm never getting that back now. Not with the prices you got no chance. Buyer regret though. I don't. That's really tough because I don't tend to. I buy things that I'm interested in, and if it goes tits up, like the Wii U, it goes tits up. But I can still say, even now, I could. If you talk about the Wii U, I could tell you like games that I like on the system and why I like the hardware, despite the fact the gamepad's a bit of a joke. It's still quite comfortable. The screen was a waste of bleeding time, but so yeah, I can't really think of anything actually that I've ever just bought and gone, "Oh Jesus, what did I do that for?" Yeah, I don't think so anyway. If I think of anything, I'll tell you.
Okay, now this is a question from Marcus X-Files.
Oh my God, Marcus!
Does he still enjoy cheese and banana sandwich? You're gonna have to tell me this.
Nice. This is the classic video on my channel that for some reason every now and again YouTube's algorithm decides to throw this video in people's feeds. So back then I used to do like random videos. I'd do my collection stuff, my game rooms, all that, tag videos and whatnot. And then I'd just randomly throw a video in. And this was one of them where just me making a cheese and banana sandwich. And so a couple of other people like Mark Verheer, who's Lactobacillus Prime, he did a response to it, and a few others did responses as well. So people were trying the sandwich.
Well, I've got one to throw out there, and this is going back a long time. I was probably 17, just gone 17. My first proper girlfriend ever had. She used to eat Nutella and cheese on toast.
Oh, God.
And I thought it would be horrible, right? But I used to just take the piss out of her for having it. But a morbid curiosity in me, when I got home to my mum and dad's one night, I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to try it. So I tried it. And it was all right, you know. You've got... She used to put the Nutella on and then melt the cheese on top, and I thought it'd be the most disgusting thing. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not part of your 5 a day, but I gave it a go, and it weren't as horrible as I expected it to be. That's for sure.
But Nutella's just evil. I don't know how you can eat that. It's up there with Marmite. That is. It's just wrong.
I like Nutella. It's all right. Stu's referring the Amico and the quality. Did they say that with the Nintendo system versus the Microsoft so on, it's not all about the graphics? Well, we'll talk a bit about your opinion on that, because you spoke about it in, was it your last video when you were saying, you know, you're not interested in current gen?
Yeah.
The Amico appeals to you because it's more simple. I'll let you take the floor on that one, sort of thing. Pete.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, really. It comes down to what you're looking for in a game system. Now, I know a lot of guys on here tonight are going to have, like, they're probably going to have PS4, Xbox One, and a Switch, or maybe just 2 of those. So it's going to be a hard sell. But the Amico is going for a completely different audience. It's sort of going for an audience that's in between a mobile phone and a Switch. So it's a lot more simplified, it's a lot more fun, which is the thing that really attracts me, is the fun part of it. Because to be quite honest, when I play AAA games these days, all it does to me is get me frustrated and angry. And I don't want that anymore. I want to sit down with a simple game, have some fun with it, play with my family. You know, I can sit down with my dad and play these games. I can't do that with the PS4. I tried to teach him how to play Uncharted once. That didn't go well. So, not the right game either. I think I should have picked something easier. But, I mean, Tommy always talks about, and I don't think a lot of people who are gamers believe him, when he talks about if you give a PlayStation or Xbox controller or a Switch controller to somebody that, like a family member or a friend who's never played a game, or like my dad hasn't played a game since the 70s, they don't get it. I try to explain the right-hand stick and say to him it's a camera, and he's going, I don't know what you're on about. And I'm like, he's like, what camera? And I'm like, no, there's not an actual camera. Just imagine there's a camera behind the bloke, and you have to sort of move it around to see where you're going. And all he does is just use the left stick and walk forward. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't see what's coming to the left or the right of you or what's behind you. It's like, it's an absolute nightmare. Whereas with this, you can just give them the controller. But graphically, it's a personal choice. I like what they're doing. I think the graphics look cool. As I say, the games are still in development. They aren't finished, and they're showing the stages. Even Tommy has said recently, again in interviews, reiterated the fact that the videos they're putting out are not of the current build. They're of a slightly older build, because he wants to build it up so that when he does the next video, you're like, bloody hell, look how much more they've done. Finnegan Fox, they put out... Sorry, I'm going to go on here, but...
No, you carry on, mate. That's what you're here for tonight, mate.
Okay, cool. Well, they put out the Finnegan Fox video, which got a bit of criticism, because it's based off a game called Fox and Forest. Now, if you listen to what Tommy said about Finnegan Fox, the way they've changed that game, they've taken away the pixel art, they've changed it to more of a cartoon style, because their main audience are families, and children prefer that to pixel art. They've added in double jump, they've added the ability to run and to shoot, they've added in new levels, they've changed some of the gameplay elements to make it more easy to get on with, because apparently there's a lot of backtracking in the original game. They've added in shoot 'em up levels, they've added in co-op, they've done all this extra stuff that they're putting into the game. Now, any game that does come over from another platform, that's one of the requirements that they have from the developer. You have to Amico-fy the game, it has to use the controller, take advantage of it, add new levels, change the graphics, change the music. Finnegan Fox have re-recorded the music with completely new instruments as well. And so you're seeing this stage by stage. And that game was announced, I think it was last August, in their update video. And at that time, all they showed was a couple of art pieces, a couple of animations and stills, nothing really, just to show you what the game is. And now, 6 months later, we're now seeing the first gameplay, and it looks fantastic to me. It reminds me of like the Castle of Illusion era. So I'd say it's just really a personal choice. You're not going to get what you get on the Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox, because that's not what they're aiming for.
One of the things you mentioned, and I know Tommy mentioned I think it might have been when you talked to him, or
right.
Oh God, Open Every Box, Pete had him on. It is aimed for the family. Like, they're not going to have any violent games. Every game's going to be the American rating. It almost reminds me of when the Wii come out, where it's social gaming again, where you all get together and play a game. I mean, Nintendo have tried to do it with the Switch with the Joy-Cons, but I think by having that single screen, it's gone away from what they intended, if you know what I mean. Everyone's back solitary looking at one screen, whereas with the Amico, you've got obviously you're going to have on a big screen, but you've also got the controller with a screen as well. Yeah. And I think that's what they're kind of aiming to do, is get everyone back in a room together, playing a game together, which I think the Wii, although I don't rate it as a system, if I was to want to play a system with my friends, it would be my go-to system, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's simple. Even if you just play Wii Sports, I think everybody's done that now. It's been 100 million units sold, so it was pretty popular. I remember Christmas 2006 getting my Wii. Mum and Dad will give it a shot just to please me for about half an hour. My mum's got no interest whatsoever. I put on Wii Sports. Me and my dad spent most of Christmas and New Year playing Wii Golf. We absolutely got obsessed with that game. I got my mum to play Wii Bowling. And when I say she doesn't play games, she has absolutely no interest. If I try and get her to play a game, she just will not. She's like, I don't care, I'm not interested. But lately, since she got a tablet over the last couple of years, she started to play a few like word games and simple mobile games. Now that's part of the audience that Tommy's going after with one of the categories of games that he has on the system. So yeah, I think it's the co-op thing absolutely works. If you look at the Nintendo adverts, when people point out the games that they say are family orientated and co-op, most of the adverts they put are not actually co-op or multiplayer. They're somebody playing the game with a family sitting around them, watching them play and looking at the screen. Whereas with the Amico, you're all interacting together. You've all got a controller. You get 2 in the box that you can use. You can buy additional controllers, but also out of the box, you can download the free Amico app onto your mobile, and you can have up to 8 smartphones connected Now, it's not going to be for every game, obviously, because some of the retro reimagined games are more complex. But for like the party games and the card games, the board games, the dice games, those kind of things, you can all play together. I sound like a salesman, you know. That's the worst thing.
If Tommy ever watches this back, Pete's got the job as online sales spokesperson for the Amico. What we'll do is we'll pop in and out when Amico questions comes, because we've got another different question here.
Yeah, go for it.
Nerdy Geezer, do you have a holy grail item like that's either your own or you would like to own, other than the Amico?
In all honesty, if money was no object, it would be rebuilding an American SNES collection, but this time like having a couple of nice boxed variant consoles and get like probably 100 games or something, just like completely curate it so I have just the games that I absolutely love. But that would take like literally thousands of pounds at this point with import tax. So.
No worries. I hope that answers that question. Interesting question from Addy Sneaker Free. Question, Pete, will you ever come to an event to meet up with the other tubers, i.e. Play Blackpool, people who come from all over the UK, blah, blah, and OG tubers? You'd be more than well. Now, I've actually seen you and met you at an event. We didn't know each other back then, but that was Bristol Gaming Market.
Yeah, I was with Gashead, wasn't I? So.
Yeah, you were with Gashead, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know you was there. Well, obviously, I didn't know you at that time, so yeah.
But... yeah. No, I was stalling, so I was selling there. I obviously knew Gashead at the time, but I didn't know you at the time, sort of thing.
Yeah, because Witch King Retro was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the back of me.
Yeah.
He's always back
right.
to mine, sort of thing. Like, it's the only time I see or hear of Rich now. He's if I'm at an event and I'm buying.
Yeah. Go on. So.
No, I'm just going to say the question's there. It's your floor to answer.
Well, Steve, yeah, absolutely. If I can, once all this is, we get some kind of normality, if I can, yeah. Because I mean, the biggest problem I always find is like I know like Champion 2D Rob's gone from London up to Blackpool and that, which is a hell of a distance, and I'm in Somerset, so it's a bit closer, but it's still a hell of a journey. But yeah, I'll be honest with you, a lot of it is anxiety, which is why I haven't done it. And then there was financial issues at one point as well. But I mean, in the future, if I can, and there's an event to go to, yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of people I want to meet from YouTube that I've known, for a long time now. Like Cyber Snake, for instance, I want to meet Jay for the first time. So yeah, definitely, if I can do it, I will do.
You've just reminded me, I've got a game for Jay in my glove box in my car that I need to drop at his house. I'm going to do that the weekend. It's been in there weeks, so I've just put it in my car and thought, because Jay doesn't live that far from me. I keep thinking if I'm heading his way, I'll pop it in. So I'm going to do that now the weekend, because you've just reminded me. But it'd be great to see you at an event. I mean, I enjoy the events, and a lot of people do. Probably the Blackpool would be the best one, because there's obviously sections where you can sit outside in the foyer. So, if anxiety is a thing where you don't want to be in a big crowd with a lot of people, there's that option to just sit in the corner. And people will come over and chat to you anyway, as the day goes on, if that's one of the things that kind of like stresses you out, sort of thing. But I know you'd be more than welcome, because there's a lot of people who I've spoke to who haven't met you who would really like to.
But well, I'd say the people I met at Bristol were really sound as well. I mean, I met Gassier for the first time, and like we've been talking for years anyway, so that was really easy. But it's still face to face. He was upset. I've met with I was going to say Retro Dave Nintendo, but he's not anymore. He's Retro Dave Pinball, maybe Nintendo.
Pinball off. Yes, maybe.
We'll see how it goes.
I'm quite glad you didn't change your name at some point before me making the thumbnail like he did last week.
Yeah. Well, I slightly changed it, as you pointed out on Amico One Access. So.
Yeah, I noticed that. We've got a question from Alex, Nintendo Arcade.
Hey, he's going live in a bit, isn't he, in half hour?
Is he clashing?
Yeah, he's doing his own chat. Yeah, I know.
Hey Pete, hope you are well. Will you be going for a complete collection for the Amico?
Well, let's put it this way: the price of the games, the digital games are $9.99 or less, and the physical releases are $19.99 or less. So no, sorry, $19.99. So yeah, most likely. It depends what. I don't know. I won't be buying Sesame Street or Care Bears. Let's put it that way.
Okay, I'm quite naive and not actually looked at what the format is for the physical releases. So
Right.
Are we talking cartridge or are we talking disc?
Well, this is they haven't revealed it yet, and Tommy said in an interview this week that it's going to be later on anyway before they actually reveal what it is. A couple of YouTubers have actually seen it behind the scenes, who are the guys that want to make all access, and they've spoken very positively about it. One in particular that I watched was a video by a guy called the Retro Bro John. He put out a video, and the way he was, because they can't really say, because they've not signed an NDA or anything, but they just can't, it's sort of a trust thing, like don't tell anybody. So they have to be candid. They have to be cautious. But it seems to be, from what I'm gathering, some kind of way of bridging between digital and physical. So it's not an actual physical game. So you get something that's got like an RFID that you tap on the machine, which downloads the game first of all. But then there's going to be other things like Tommy's always saying that modern games, all you get is a DVD case and a bit of paper. So he wants to bring back the old school where you get manuals and all the good stuff, the bonuses. The other thing I will say, like really importantly about physical media, is they have made it known that if you buy a physical game, obviously with digital games you can't sell them. With a physical game, when you buy it and attach it to your system, if you decide to sell that game on eBay or sell it to a friend or something, all you got to do is turn the console on, detach it from your account, and you can sell the physical copy then, and they can just tap it on their machine and download the game. But what the actual physical media is, I don't know yet. He's going to announce that later in the year.
Oh, right, that's interesting. So if you're saying it's to do with RF, maybe you scan, or as you say, like a contactless sort of tap sort of thing. That sounds quite interesting.
Yeah, I'm not too sure myself. It's that's what I want to know myself. I'm dying to find out. Yeah.
Just to confirm, Alex is live tomorrow. He's not clashing with me. I don't have to.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Oh, okay.
It's tomorrow, the 27th. So just to confirm that. We've got an excellent question that could set you off on a tangent here. Big Game Al wants to know, what's an Amico? So,
does he mean the console or does he mean the word?
Why not? I'm guessing the word's easier to explain, and then we'll go on to the console idea. But it's the floor's yours to let anyone know in the chat who doesn't have a clue.
All right, I'll have a go. So, Amico is the Italian word for friend, which, as I say, it's a brand new family-based console which is focused on local multiplayer. The games do have single player as well, because obviously myself, I don't have a family, so I'm going to be doing a lot of single player gaming. The machine itself comes with 2 controllers out the box, also comes with 6 full games on the machine. At the moment, they've announced 5 of those games. One of the games is still to be announced, which is a party game they're going to announce later in the year. They have a lot of different games coming to the system. So they've got 5 different sections of games, categories. They've got sports and recreation. They've got retro reimagine, where they take all the classic games. They've got a lot of Atari licenses, all the original television games. They've also got other games like R-Type and Kung Fu Master that they're going to be bringing back as well. They have original IP, which basically means they can just make whatever games they want to make for the system. They've got board games, dice games, and hyper casual, all the sort of things you get on a mobile device. And then they have kids and edutainment. So if you've got small children, you can play games with them as well. Also, as you said earlier, Dana, the Amico will not have any excessive violence, sexual content, any profanity. So the idea is really that you can just let your child play on this machine and you never have to worry about them. And also you don't have to worry about them racking up a bill as well. Somebody asked this week about going on and buying games from the shop. And Tommy said you can create an account which bans you from going on the shop, so they can't buy stuff. But the basic thing is, the Amico console itself, as I say, is a family-based system, bringing back some of the arcade classics that we used to like. Games like Moon Patrol, it's bringing back television games like Astro Smash, Night Stalker, Biplanes, Skiing. It's got some new games on there as well, like Finnegan Fox, which is a 2D platformer. It's got a game called Rigid Force Redux Enhanced, which is a side-scrolling shoot 'em up like R-Type, which looks absolutely beautiful. It's got an Evil Knievel game on there. It's got Dino Blaster, which is the German name, I believe, for Bomberman. And what I was going to tell you, the controller itself is really unique in design. You need to really have a look at a picture or a video of it to get your head around it. But it's got a colour touch screen on there. It's got a 64 positional disc, which can act as a button, a D-pad, and a disc that you can press down and spin. So say you're playing like Tempest or something like that. It's got 4 shoulder buttons, top and bottom. It's ambidextrous. You can hold it whichever way you want to. It's got a speaker, a microphone, gyroscope. It's got force feedback. It's basically just got absolutely everything you could want from a gaming controller. So if there's anything else you want to know, Al, just let me know. So.
Tommy did show the controller on was it Open Every Box Pete, is it? OEB
Probably,
Pete?
yeah. OEB Pete, yeah.
Yeah, he was showing it on the last one, weren't he? The controller and kind of how it worked and the buttons positioning.
That's right, yeah.
Best way to describe it is it reminds me kind of an old Nokia sized phone sort of thing, roughly that sort of size.
Yeah, it gets compared to an iPod as well. So
the good thing he said is he's like he mentioned that one of his kids picked it up or someone's kid saw it and they said, "Oh, that looks like a tablet because it's got that screen and that sort of interaction with it."
Well, this is the thing you say, as you say, like kids are used to screens now. So immediately, and same with parents as well. Like my parents are older than me, so immediately they can pick that up and it's simple. It's like a couple of buttons, a disc, and a screen, so you can automatically understand how to use it. There was someone I was going to say, and I've forgotten what it was, which is quite annoying, but it'll come back to me.
If it comes back, we can always come back to it.
Yeah.
Question from Scott, Sega Saturn Lad. Does Pete watch any channels criticals of Amico or Tommy? I'm sub to a channel called Darius Truxton.
Yeah.
He seems to run it down frantic, frustrating.
To be fair, I'm not going to slag anybody off, so I don't do that. But that guy's a bit tapped, so I don't watch him.
I don't think he's up to me, so we're safe.
Yeah.
Not that I give a fuck if he written my comments.
No, exactly. Well, I blocked him ages ago. But no, I don't watch those channels, to be honest, Scott, because most of them are completely crazy and they're vindictive and evil, and they're just going after Tommy and after television developers, investors, people that work at the company. They're not normal people, and they're the ones that go around leaving comments on every single positive Amico video and call all of us fans of the console a cult, when in fact they're the cult because they're the ones that are going around harassing people. They're just crazy trolls, basically, a bit psychopathic and like doxing people. So no. So if you got like that one, there's Sensible Person, there's an Ouya channel, there's a few different ones that are on there. But as I say, I'm not going to get involved in the bullshit drama.
It seems that like whenever there's anything new coming out, like I was on that Evercade stream recently, and there was people in that just trolling it because, I mean, the Evercade, that obviously they'd had one that was broke, and instead of just sending it back and getting a brand new one, which is what Blaze are doing, even like if it's one dead pixel, they will send you a new Evercade, Instead of just doing that, they'd rather go on Twitter or Facebook. And I think some people just want shit to moan and complain about in life,
Definitely.
The first thing I would do if I had something wrong, rather than flipping bitch about it and write a post, you get in touch with whoever's made it and say, look, will you replace it? If they go, yeah, then problem sorted, Xbox 360 is the perfect example. When it launched, how many of them did they have to replace? Okay, it got them a bit of bad press, but they put them right and they replaced them to this or until recent years. It's only if they then don't choose to replay it, then you go down the lines of social media, and then normally you end up getting it fixed for the bad publicity anyway.
I will say as well there to Scott, the reason I don't watch those kind of channels is because why would I want to watch a channel where someone's just shitting on something that I like? That's kind of self-defeating, isn't it, really? There's no point in doing that.
If someone's written in the comments, Dylan says, Darius Truxton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
If Dylan's calling someone a head case, they must be a head case.
Well, I've never watched his videos because I don't want to feed into all that, but just reading the titles of his videos, and someone sent me a link saying, oh, you're in one of his videos, and I was like, well, I'm not going to watch it, am I? And I saw the titles of his videos, and the guy just goes after anyone. And he's just back.
Yeah, I'm thinking now, I'm familiar with the name of his channel, which means he must have been involved in some sort of drama that I've been reading about, and I think I've seen the bloke and he's a bit of a lunatic.
Yeah, he's proper off his tits, and he's a proper clout chaser, as the Americans say. So yeah.
I think I know who he is, and I kind of think I know what it was all about, and he was making videos of. I think it was to do with Radical Rick. Got to be 18 months ago.
Yeah, he's another one, isn't he?
From James,
hey, James.
TNT for Pete. Which reimagined game would you most be excited to see released? I'm guessing this is on the Amico.
Yeah, that's a great question. For me personally, at the moment, it's R-Type, which I asked. There's a guy I found recently, Poor Man's Retro Game Room, really great guy in America with incredible CRT TVs, and he asked for people to send questions in. I asked Tommy this week, is R-Type and his Kung Fu Master still coming? He said they are, and they're going to start working on them next year. So R-Type is the one I really want. But if it's going to be one of the ones that have just already been announced, it's really tough. I'd probably say, probably going to be Moon Patrol, because if you want to see what the Amico games play like, they did put a demo on their app. So if you download the Amico Club app, you can play the first level of Moon Patrol on your phone just to try it out. Obviously, that's not going to represent how it plays with the controller, but yeah, I'd say Moon Patrol.
Okay, that sounds very interesting, actually. But you can already have a slight feel of what could potentially come.
Yeah. There's videos on my channel actually for it. Sorry, because I played it a lot, and I'm still playing it now. But I was trying to challenge myself to get high score. Like Alex Nintendo Arcade, Amico's perfect for him because he loves chasing high scores. So, Alex, if you're watching, and you are, because there's a question. So
yeah, what I was going to say is, I'm sure Tommy mentioned that there was going to be live leaderboards linked to the Amico as well. So for someone like Alex, who is a high score chaser, to have a worldwide leaderboard to chase after, that would be quite interesting.
More importantly as well, he has said with the leaderboards, because they're going to be local, national, international. If you say you got the highest score in the UK, for instance, and that month, at the end of the month, what they'll do is they'll email you a certificate, and it'll say like Nintendo Arcade, this is your score, etc. And you can print that out and stick it on your wall and show off. So I think that's pretty cool.
His arcade will be full of them then, won't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So he says, does Amico have Amiibos?
No,
I think that's plugging into your, because you used to collect Amiibos, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I'm not the only one. We all did that. It's a bit of a fetish for it. So.
Raz and Cyber Snakes bring to mind when I think of Amiibos as well, them too.
I'm trying to think. Has Jay still got them? I think he sold them, didn't he?
He sold a lot of them. He kept certain ones. I know did he keep his Castlevania ones? I believe he did.
Yeah, I think he did, because I think he showed it on a pickup video, didn't he? So.
Yeah. Another question from James, flashback. If he's going to receive a free Amigo for all the support is given the developers.
No, I mean, Tommy is sending out a few dev kits, but they're going to like families so they can get proper feedback from families. And to be quite honest with you, I mean, I'm in the UK, so there's no way that would happen. I wouldn't expect him to do that. It'd be too expensive. But even if he was willing to do that, I probably wouldn't, because I'd rather, because there's things that Tommy said about the packaging for the machine, and there's going to be things that the machine does that he hasn't talked about, but he sort of hinted at. So I want to be surprised the first time I open it. I want to see what it is. And that's really cryptic, I know.
No worries. So you're not selling your soul to promote the Amico quite yet?
I'm making no money, nothing out of it. Yeah. I'm just a fan, that's all.
Eddie said, when will Earthworm Jim be released? It should be a launch title.
They haven't got a date yet for it. They basically, Tommy said they don't release games until they're 100% sorted. They don't want to be patching games, you see. That's one thing they won't do. So Earthworm Jim, they want to make sure it's absolutely pristine before it comes out. So, it might be the end of this year at launch. It may be later on, but it's definitely coming. That's another thing. I just thought of something. I forgot to tell Big Game Al as well. Another real good selling point is if you're a mobile game player like your family are. Obviously, my mum's always complaining about when she's playing the games, the bloody ads keep popping up every time she tries to play a game. So with the Amico, there'll be no ads, no in-app purchases, no DLC. We'll see how that goes in the future. But there's basically no intrusiveness at all. So that's another big selling point they found with a lot of families.
No worries. We've got some more questions. I'm just reading them because I do censor them sometimes. But these ones are great. So, from Retro Red Steve, for Pete, what's the best port of R-Type he has played?
That's a great question, mate. I think the PlayStation one's pretty good. I found it a little bit difficult, though. It's not as easily accessible as a lot of versions of it. I mean, to be honest, if it's not a port, but I'd probably go with either Super R-Type or R-Type 3, because I think those are two of the best ones I played. I mean, the one I'd love to get, which has never been put on a home system, is R-Type Leo, which I played on MAME. That's an incredible game. So, I've asked Tommy about that in the past. He's always dodged that one. So,
I mean, I must admit, I'm a huge R-Type fan. So the fact that it's coming to the Amico is very interesting for me, to be fair.
I want to see what they're going to do with it, because I mean, I've asked Tommy. I don't know if I asked him when I interviewed him. I can't remember. Well, I had a chat with him. But yeah, I think I've asked him in the past about this, and he said, like, in fact, I'm pretty sure it was in my interview where he said that he wasn't just going to obviously just port the game over. Like all the other games that they're bringing from other platforms as well, they're going to enhance it. So I'm assuming we're probably going to get like really flashy visuals and killer soundtrack because it's Tommy Tallarico. I mean, that's the other thing. Do people in the chat know who Tommy is? Because I don't want people to think this is some kind of Kickstarter bullshit thing, you know?
No, I have seen, I think it was Sega Saturn Lad said Tommy did some amazing 16-bit soundtracks, but you can fill people in on his, because I've done a brief look up. I know you spoke to him a lot more, so he's been involved with gaming a very, very long time. I'll tell you what, he looks bloody good for 50.
He certainly does. Makes you want to be a vegan, doesn't it?
But yeah, if you want to fill people on who he is, because he's the guy who's doing the old Intellivision Amico. So yeah, carry on.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, Tommy Tallarico is a music composer. He's been in the industry for more than 30 years now. As you just pointed out, he's worked on some of the 16-bit games. So he worked on Virgin's Aladdin for the Mega Drive. He was part of the Shiny Entertainment team with David Perry, working on Earthworm Jim. He's done Cool Spot, Global Gladiators. He worked on MDK. He worked on Wild 9 on the PlayStation, on the Guitar Hero series. He's worked on Tony Hawk series. He's worked on Sonic games. He worked on Metroid Prime for the GameCube. So he's had quite a varied career. He's worked on 350 games in total and holds a world record for the most games worked on. Also, as well, he was the first person to bring out a video game soundtrack when nobody was selling soundtracks, which was very successful, and he got awards for that. And then he went on to be the host of a TV show in America and Canada called Electric Playground with a guy called Victor Lucas, who created the show. I think they might have created it together, but Tommy was the presenter. That went on for, I think, over a decade, and there's about 23 seasons-ish. Victor's actually got a YouTube channel under Electric Playground where he uploads the episodes. So I've watched about the first 3 seasons, and it's essentially like Bad Influence, where it's a magazine thing where they talk about the hardware, the games, do the reviews, go on location, that kind of thing. It's actually pretty good. I quite liked it. So he did that.
Am I correct in saying that run till the early 2000s?
That's it, yeah. I
mean, that's a good run for a TV game show sort of thing, like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'd say it's actually quite accessible for us and all, because obviously America and England, the shows are different in their style, but I found it just felt like watching Bad Influence, but with Americans. So it's a really good show. And if anyone doesn't know who David Perry is, by the way, if you've watched Bad Influence, there's an episode where Violet Berlin goes to California to see Earthworm Jim, and she meets David Perry, and he's sitting on a deck chair, and they go back to the office, and he's got a massive TV showing Earthworm Jim off. The other thing Tommy did as well, after he left the TV show, he created Video Games Live, which is a orchestral video game show that he's toured around the world for 20 years now. And that's basically bringing orchestras and video games together. And at the time, he was told that basically people who go to orchestras don't care about video game music, and gamers don't care about orchestras. And he proved them wrong. And so this is really part of the reason. Before in Television Amico, I didn't know Tommy. I don't follow people in the industry, so I didn't know what he'd actually done. So when I learned about his career and how many things he'd been successful at, and all the games he'd worked on, the people he's worked with, and the people he knows, that's what gave me the confidence in the system. I knew it wasn't just some guy trying to knock off a Kickstarter and try and con us all like the Coleco Chameleon. But then you look at the team, as I say, he's got David Perry, he's got a guy called Phil Adam, who was the person that brokered the deal to bring Tetris from Russia to America. He also brokered a deal between Naughty Dog and Universal for Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2 on the PlayStation. He's also got a woman working for him who worked for Nintendo and marketed the Wii. He's got a guy from NASA working for him. He's also got... do you like Xbox, Dana?
Are you joking? Did you watch my...
I don't know. I watched you for an Xbox guy.
I'm a PlayStation guy.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're one of them, right? Okay. No.
Yeah, I'm one of them, yeah.
Well, basically, have you ever heard of a guy called Jay Allard who works for Xbox?
I haven't, no, but I'm guessing Rob Gernaldinho Plays, who's in the comments, will have done, that's for sure.
Well, Jay was involved with the first Xbox, the original one, and the 360. If you watch the MTV program that they did when they announced the 360, it's on YouTube. He's the guy sitting on the floor playing the console with a bald head and a hoodie on. He also worked on Xbox Live as well. And Jay Allard is working with Tommy as well on the Amico, which was, for me, as an Xbox guy, was just like... I mean, I'm not an Xbox gamer as much now because it's not what it used to be. But you know, I was a massive original Xbox and 360 guy, and Jay Allard was one of the best for me. So that was a big rubber stamp as well. And basically, you look through his team. He's got a guy called Scott Samura, who used to be the head of one of Nintendo's internal development teams. He's got a lot of really good people, and a guy called Jason Enos, who's worked on shitloads of games, tons of rhythm games like Guitar Hero, Rock Band, those kind of games. He's done absolutely tons. So these basically what I'm trying to say is that when people try and berate this machine and say it's a scam, it's not. It's built by a group of people that have worked in the industry for more than 30 years, with over 600 years combined experience, and they're just basically trying to bring back a fun system. And I don't know why that's a bad thing. Yeah.
What I'd say from listening to you say that now, like these are guys who aren't flashing the pans. They're definitely not faceless people, and they're almost like, you know, they're putting their reputations on this line to be a success, because, you know, you've just listed all the successful things that they've all worked with. Everyone will remember the Amico if it fails, because everyone remembers people's failures. So that they're obviously making the delays for the right reason, because they want it to be right. And as I say, they're trading on their own reputations. If this fails, everyone remembers everyone's failures more than their successes. So, you know, I'd kind of have that confidence that you have as well, to be honest, Pete.
Well, I think at the end of the day, the best thing anyone can do is obviously understand that all the videos on the channel, gameplay-wise, are work in development. You will get new videos as the games get more work done to them, so they will improve over time. And like, if you look at Astro Smash, for example, go back and watch some of the old Astro Smash videos, compare them to the most recent video, and you can see the difference in the graphics, and the soundtrack's incredible. But really, just like any console that you're interested in, like I've always done, look at the games. Is it something you'd play? Are there enough games to justify buying the console? That's really all you got to do.
Brilliant. We've got a ton of other questions, non-Amico related, but
cool.
I can see you passionate what you talk about, and listening to you say that, then, you know, I can see why you're so confident in it, because, you know, this isn't just some guys who've decided, you know what, we're going to make a console. We're not going to put our face to stuff. We're going to ignore stuff and hide away from it. These, especially Tommy, he's putting his face to everything. He's appearing on anyone's channel, talking about it and asking about it. You know, so I can understand your confidence in it. We've got a SNES question from Stu.
Go on then.
For Pete, which SNES game would you would he loved to have? So what you never had, what would you like to own, sort of things?
There's two. One is Space Mega Force, which is Super less in the UK. I've owned the PAL version. I've never owned the American version. I'd love to have got that when I had the American collection. And also Super Turrican 2. I never managed to get that. At the time, it would have been Dracula X as well, but to be quite honest, that game ain't that great. I think Castlevania 4 is a better game. But yeah, those are the main ones.
Brilliant. Straight on to the next question from Darren McGowan. Hello, Darren. Are the Tron games being reimagined? Now, that's something that even I, who know very little about in television, I know on the original system they were popular games. There was the 2 or 3 versions of the Tron game.
I think, I'm not 100%, but I think there was 3. There's Tron Deadly Disc is the one that apparently a lot of the television guys like quite a lot.
I remember that one.
Yeah. I don't know. As I say, I don't know much about the original machine, so I'm learning like everybody else. But yes, as far as Tron's concerned, it's good. My voice is going. With Tron, it's owned by Disney, I believe. So at the moment, they've been talking to Disney for the last year to try and put a deal together, because he does actually want to bring the Tron games, and Tron Deadly Disc will be the first one. And also, he recently said this week that he might have said it before, but I just heard it this week on an interview. The guy that as the team that worked on Night Stalker, which check out the gameplay for Night Stalker because it looks incredible. That team are the team that are going to work on Tron, so you'll get an idea of the kind of visuals you're going to get as well.
Brilliant. We've got tons more questions. I'm just scrolling through. Sega Saturn lad, what is Pete's favourite Sega console?
That's a really good question. I would, in all honesty, I'd probably say the Dreamcast. Because as much as I like the Mega Drive and 16-bit is my era, and the Saturn's pretty decent as well. I've had a Japanese Saturn in the back past, that was quite good. But the Dreamcast, I actually had that at the time when it came out. I got it cheap because I was selling them off in Argus. And I really like that game. I remember just playing a lot of like Soul Calibur, Crazy Taxi, Confidential Mission, Matt Hoffman's BMX, which I absolutely love that game. I just love the fact that it was an arcade in your house. And since I started collecting, I had a lot more games as well. So I got to play like, what's the fighting game called? Power Stone, and some of the other great games on that system. So yeah, I think the Dreamcast, I mean, even now in 2021, you look at Soul Calibur and I think it still looks bloody brilliant, especially on a CRT. Beautiful.
I must admit, I'm a big fan of, for the exact same reason, of the Dreamcast. Like, I remember playing games like Virtual Striker, Virtua Tennis. They were...
Yeah, Virtual Tennis, yeah.
In fact, that spoiler for my next pickup video, I picked up the disc because I already had the case, and I used to play a ton of that. And I used to like being Mark Philippousis, the Australian tennis player, purely because as a kid I used to own his racket. The racket I bought was a Mark Philippousis racket. So when I used to play on the Dreamcast, I always used to play as him. He was probably the worst player on the game, to be honest.
Did you watch tennis?
Not for years. I used to, when I first worked at the leisure centre, like, so going back, I was 16 when I started. So I used to work evenings, so I used to have the days off. So I used to religiously watch Wimbledon every year because it used to be on during the daytime before I started work. But obviously that drifted off probably, 13, 14 years ago when I started working days. But I did used to like watching especially like the exhibitions as well. Like, you know, if rain stopped play, they'd put like something like McEnroe on, or Artem Barmaid and stuff like that, doing all like the trick shots and all that.
Oh, yeah, I only watched because I don't really follow sport, but a few years ago I got into watching Wimbledon when Djokovic won for the first time, and ever since then I've just been watching it every year religiously, and I absolutely love it. Like Nick Kyrgios is the one I'm waiting for him to break through and to kick some ass at Wimbledon, because I love watching that guy.
I mean, I'm going back. Martina Hingis, she was like the dominant woman at the time before the Williams sister come on the scene.
Yeah.
And then obviously she went away for a few years and then made a comeback, I think mainly in the doubles for a while. But yeah, it was just a thing because it was on before I started work. So it was a sport I could watch before I started work on an evening.
It's the only sport I find interesting, to be honest. I watch football, it bores the shit out of me. Yes.
I don't like football now. There's no crowd. It's a weird experience for someone who's watched a lot of football over many years. To watch it without no crowd, it's a different beast almost. Got another Sega question here for you.
Yeah.
From Scott Sega Zombie. What's Pete's favourite Sega game?
Shinobi 3. I mean, that's definitely. I nearly finished that the other day. I was playing on emulation on the Wii, and I think it's the final level. Someone can correct me, like Scott might be able to correct me, but there's like these platforms, these rock things that keep coming down from the top of the screen. You have to keep double jumping up, and it drove me absolutely insane. The double jump's shit. It's not as bad as Revenge of Shinobi, but Jesus.
Brilliant. We're back onto an Amico question.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Does Pete know what the launch price of the Amico will be?
I actually do. That's a great question. I feel like Tommy doing this. So yeah, the Amico is the base unit. You've got a glacier white and you've got a graphite black to choose from. Both are $249.99. And if you want to pre-order one, once you've checked out all the information on it, you can pre-order Argus, Amazon, and also Game as well. So all three of them are selling it. And that's another thing, by the way, just to really make it clear how this is a legitimate system. In America, they're selling it at GameStop, Walmart, and Best Buy. In Canada, EB Games. And over here, it's Amazon, Game, and Argus. And you don't get into those stores unless you're legit. So I think that's pretty cool. They also do special. Sorry, Dan, I'm just going to jump in. They got special.
I was just going to say, if you type in Snestastic on the checkout, you get 10% off.
That'd be the Amico Kid, wouldn't it? They got special editions as well, which are going to be $279.99, which they have a Galaxy Purple. They have a wood grain edition, which Jay Cybersnake's got coming, which they did a long time ago, did pre-orders for those. You can still get that on the website, on the Intellivision website. And the one I'm waiting for is the GTO Red, which is absolutely gorgeous. And he's got it in the back of his video. So whenever he does an interview, you'll see the Red Amico just sitting in the back just to piss me off. He did it this week. That guy, Poor Man Retro Room, when he asked him the questions, he goes, I got a question from Snestastic. What do you think his first question is? He went, when can he pre-order the Amico, the GTO Red? And he went, yeah. And he starts pointing at it, going, look, there it is, Pete. And I was like, bastard.
Did the wood grain one, actually, because obviously I edited that picture of you holding the Amico.
Yeah.
The three that were on display were the white, the black, and wood grain one, which obviously harkens back to the original system, which had a wood grain feature.
Something I forgot to mention as well about the controller and the console as well. The controller and the console light up as well, which is going to be something with a lot of the party games. There's a game called Bomb Squad they've just put out a teaser trailer for, where you have to defuse a bomb and the bomb is the actual console. And you all have your own controls and you all have to work together to defuse the bomb using the different colours on the controller and the console. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays when it comes to a gameplay.
So is that like different colours it lights up? Because I had this like light blue, because in the pictures it shows you light blue.
Yeah, it looks like Tron, and it's a black one.
Yeah.
Basically, you can cycle colours, you can do different colours. So on a simple level, say you're playing a game like you open up the machine. There's 6 games on there. You want to play skiing because skiing's nice and simple. You can just race with a friend or a family member. So your dad's there, your mate's there. You both got a controller. You select your player, and the first thing you'll see is that the disc itself. I've got the red player, so my disc lights up red. They've got the green player, their disc lights up green. So if you're thinking about you're with a family member, like if you've ever played games with like members of family who don't have a clue about video games, a lot of the time I've found that I always get like, which one am I? What am I doing? Bloody blah. With this, they just look at the colour, and also if you're playing like a game where you take turns, when it's their turn, the console will also light up green as well, so they know it's their turn.
Okay, so it's got that visual interaction as well. Then.
Exactly, yeah.
A question from Sean Horatio Van Basten. Will the Amico get the new R-Type game? So I'm guessing there's a new R-Type game being released. Yeah,
I have seen something about that. I don't know. It will be when they're starting out next year when they make it. So I don't know if they're going to retool the old game or they're going to create a new game for it. He hasn't said yet. It's still very early. But just know that when it comes to the Amico, you'll only be able to play that version of the game on the Amico.
Yeah, I was going to say, because as you mentioned earlier, they have to make that version of the game Amico friendly or Amico interactive sort of thing.
Yeah, as OB Pete always says, Amico-fied.
Yeah. Another question about the Amico. Have they mentioned a Cool Spot sequel? That would be amazing. That's from Eddie Rollercore.
They haven't yet. I mean, it all comes down to licensing, so it depends who they can get the license from. I don't know who owns that. What I did forget to mention as well, because obviously we're in the UK here, so a lot of us are 16-bit guys who had Amigas love the Bitmap brothers. Now, there's a guy called Mike who's one of the founding members of Bitmap. He's working for Intellivision as a developer, and he's developing a game called Liar's Dice, which is a family game. And when I interviewed Tommy, I asked him about this, and basically he just agreed with me that, yeah, basically Mike said he wanted to do this game first of all. In terms of the Bitmap brothers games, apparently they sold a lot of their licenses off a few years ago. So Tommy said, we've had discussions about it. If we can bring them to the Amico, we will. But there's also obviously the option that they can make games that look like Chaos Engine or look like Magic Pockets or Speedball 2, but they're not straight game, not straight new releases, So sort of like influenced by or that kind of thing.
Talking of it in television, like they've just the Evercade has just announced the first Intellivision collection coming to the Evercade. Now, I'm guessing Tommy would have to sign that rights over to the Evercade to allow it, but it could be a clever marketing strategy, because if that becomes popular to someone who owns an Evercade and then Television are bringing out an Amico, if they're just a casual gamer, not someone like us who are into the gaming, because the Evercade could be a casual system for someone to have a handheld. If they enjoy the Intellivision, that's a clever marketing strategy to get the games out there to say, look, you can play these at home on our console.
Yeah, I think that's something I didn't actually think about, but you're absolutely right. If they got like Astro Smash on there, for instance, and you're playing the original version, you think it's really cool, and then you find out that Intellivision are actually bringing out a brand new 1080p, thing you can throw up on your TV with amazing graphics. I mean, have you checked out any of the gameplays for the games, by the way?
I haven't. I didn't even. I've literally only watched interviews because I didn't want to learn too much before I spoke to you. Yeah. Because I want to learn as we're going along tonight, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Because if I knew too much you was talking about, I want to be interested in what you're talking about. But I didn't even know there was gameplay footage out, and I didn't know you could actually download and have a little go on an app on your phone, if I'm quite honest.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. Yeah, there's a lot of gameplay footage on there. They've got, from last year, they've got they did a whole update video, and there was loads of different things in that update, and they sectioned them out. So there's a really good couple of good videos. Actually, got one with a load of gameplay, which shows a ton of games like Night Stalker and Battle Tanks, and there's a game coming out called Nitro Derby, which I'm looking forward to, which is a top-down game like Super Off-Road, Super Sprint, that kind of thing, and all the other games like Rigid Force Redux and that. But they've also got a really cool video on their channel which is just all of the developers that are working for Intellivision around the world, just talking about why they wanted to join in and get involved with the Amico. And that's really cool.
See, because the one thing I couldn't get my head around when I found out Intellivision were bringing out a cart for the Evercade, I was thinking, why are you giving up your licensed games to like a rival? But almost, in a way, it's almost like extra advertising for them, and obviously getting revenue from the games, because like, I'm guessing they would have charged a fee, or they will get X amount per cart sold, which then brings them money back in that they can then pay for developers to do more on their Amico. It's almost like a cycle sort of thing.
Yeah, and especially at the moment with the pandemic and everything, obviously they've got overheads, and while they can't get this console out, they're still having to pay wages and everything. Got to keep the investors happy. So yeah, I suppose that's probably why.
Yeah, I just at first it seemed strange, and then the more I sat on it, the more it made sense. If that makes sense.
Wouldn't it be nice though if more people on the internet took time to actually think about stuff before just jumping in? Oh well.
Question from Addy Sneaker Free: do you have concerns the controllers will put people off? Paddles are not generally received well these days, no matter how high tech they are. Does that paddle work as a D button as well? Because I didn't see all of his reveals, so I'm guessing it's like
right.
It needs some sort of hybrid, isn't it? Isn't it like pressure sensitive as well?
Yeah, it's not a paddle either; it's a disc, but that's being pedantic. But basically, yeah, it can act as like one big button if you want to use it that way. You can use it as a traditional D-pad, so you've got the 8 directions. But in total, when you hold this down and you spin it, it spreads the metal underneath on the circuit. So you end up, instead of 32 positions when it has standard, but when you press it down, you get 64 positions. So as I said, like if a game like Tempest, for instance, if they brought that to the system, you could spin and just slide quite easily. Or if you're playing a driving game, for instance, you could easily smoothly control your car around the track, like Nitro Derby, where it's top down. So, I mean, I think it's like the Wii, like Tommy keeps saying this. With the Wii, they had to put it in people's hands, because you look at that controller. I remember at the time, there were like what you would call memes now, but they didn't have them back then. And people were taking the piss going, it looks like a remote control. And none of us thought the Wii was going to be successful, if we're honest. And so I think once they do the mall tours and they start putting it in shops, like they'll probably have it in Game Over here, so you can just go and try it. Once people get, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the controller's amazing, because I don't know. Until I try it myself, I won't know. There's been concern this week about a touchscreen, because obviously we all know touchscreens are crap for playing games on. But Tommy made a really great point which sold me this week, and that is that with touchscreens, when you're playing a game on a phone, you get like a tiny little bit that you have to click on, because they don't want your thumbs all over the screen, because it obscures the area, you can't see what you're playing. With this, you're using the entire screen, because you're not looking at the screen, you're looking at the TV. So I think once you get it in your hand and you get used to, you can use the shoulder buttons or you can use the screen, you can just choose different control methods. And I say you can change the controller, you can hold it with a disc on the right, you can flip it, have the disc on the left, you can do whatever you want. And when you do that, it automatically updates. You don't have to pause the game, go into a menu, change the controls, come back out, test it. Okay, that's not good enough, I'll try a different control scheme. You literally just turn it around and it alters on the fly.
Brilliant. When you mentioned then about you needing to have it in your hand,
yeah,
I remember the first time I ever played a Wii, it was at my mate's house. Before we were going out, we were having a little bit of a competitive game. We were playing cornhole, where you chuck the beanbag in the hole.
That's on the Amico.
Playing that, and my mate beat me, and it really annoyed me. And I went out the next day and bought a Wii because I wanted to get better at it. Just, originally I weren't interested in the Wii because when you look at it graphically, massively inferior to everything else out.
Yeah.
But to play, it was fun and it was a good laugh. And literally once I'd played one, I went and bought one the next day because I wanted to play it. Now it's not a system I have a lot of fondness for because I literally only used to play the competitive games. So if I'm not playing the competitive games against my mates, I ain't got room to swing my arm back in here to play a Wii game. It's almost defunct for me. But at that time, I enjoyed playing it competitively.
They didn't push hard enough on the casual audience. They sold it to everybody and got the 100 million units through Wii Sports, and they did Wii Fit. But as we all know, they just put any old shit on that system. They just shovelware the crap out of it, with a couple of exceptions. Tommy has said with this, what they're going to do, they're going to curate the game. So if a developer is out there, like as an indie developer wants to put a game on Amiga, they contact Intellivision, they have a discussion about what the game's going to be, how it can work, etc. If they had agreed to go ahead, Tommy and Intellivision will fund that developer. They don't have to find money. Intellivision pay for the full development. You can access to Tommy Tallarico to do the music. You can access to their teams that do the graphics, that build the worlds, etc. And when the games come out, they're going to do it. So they're aiming for 30 to 35 games on launch. You get 6 in the machine for free anyway, and all the rest will be on the store. Now, the idea is that every couple of weeks a new game will come out. And I'm assuming, I don't know because I haven't asked him about this, but I'm assuming it's going to be like 5 games a week. So it'd be like one every 2 weeks, 1 game per category, I assume. So you've got like a casual game, a sports game, and a retro reimagined. And they're going to highlight that game because at the moment, with Steam and with Switch, a lot of games come out. You get thousands of games a week, and they're just getting lost in the mix. Finnegan Fox is a perfect example. Apparently, the developer that made the original game, Fox and Forest, that game did fairly well, fairly successfully. Didn't get the audience they wanted. Now it's going to be on Amico, it's going to get highlighted, and people are going to start looking at it. And at £10 a game, you're going to go, well, I'll give that a go. Why not? It's a 2D platformer.
Brilliant. I need because it's getting a lot of mention. I'm not literally that is beyond my thing. We've got a question from the release. Oh,
hang on, you break it up.
Yeah, stuttering then. Am I back?
Yeah. Yeah, now you are. What was you saying?
Flashback TN wants to know the release date of the system.
Oh, right, okay. So at the moment, the release date is 10/10/21, so 10th of October this year.
Right. Oh, that's it. We've caught up with the questions now. And also, Eddie wants to know what stops this from being the next Ouya. So from listening to what you said, I'm guessing in the developers. The developers that's backing it is what I'd say.
The developers and also the team at Intellivision, Tommy Tallarico, Jason Enos, Phil Adam, David Perry, Jay Allard, all big industry names, and many more. If you go onto Intellivision.com, all the people are listed. You can check out their history.
It's all right. I've had a little bit of lag. I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah, it's cool. No worries. I've got plenty of time. Yeah, so.
Yeah, no worries. It's all right. I think this is the next question. Crossover with Quartet and Gauntlet, would that? I'm thinking he's thinking of something for the Amico multiplayer. I mean, actually, Gauntlet would be a very good sort of game to play, especially like again, that's something I used to play on my Amstrad, family base. Me, my brother, my dad used to play it.
Well, they've actually got a game coming out on Amico, which originally it was called Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and Tommy said apparently they lost the license back in the day, and they renamed the game as Cloudy Mountain. So Cloudy Mountain is coming to the Amico, and I don't play RPGs, I don't like them. But from what I've seen of the gameplay, it looks a lot like Gauntlet in the dark. And so basically, it's like who's playing it together, you're running around the maze in the dark shooting stuff. And every time you go into a new area, it becomes light, and you can be attacked by shitloads of enemies, and then it goes dark again. And you cannot bounce shots off walls and stuff. It looks really cool.
What game was that again? Because I'm
it's Cloudy Mountain.
Cloudy Mountain.
Yeah, it reminded me of Gauntlet, so...
I love Gauntlet. That's already 2 games you've spoke about tonight, like R-Type and Gauntlet. They're 2 of my favourite franchises. So if there's something very similar to that, I could be tempted.
What type of games do you like to play the most?
I do like my first-person shooters, so I'm guessing that's not going to be on there.
Yeah, you're knackered.
If I want to play retro, though, I do go towards like a shmup, maybe a driving game. Again, okay, cool. Gauntlet, like that dungeon crawler sort of games. I do play quite a few of them.
Okay, well,
again, platformers. If there's platformers on there,
which there will be. As I say, they've got Finnegan Fox to start with. Shooters, they've got Rigid Force Redux Enhanced. They've got R-Type in the pipeline. Driving games, they've got Nitro Derby. Looks really, really cool. That, by the way, is very early. So we're waiting for updated gameplay on that one.
No worries. Addy Sneaker Freak wants to know if you're at the Amico launch party.
If I could fly to California and I could afford to do so, then hell yeah, I'd go and meet. I'd actually love if one day it would be great to go to America and meet all the guys off the Amico All Access because they're really top blokes. And to meet Tommy, of course.
That may be something to plan in the future. Before we get on to the next question, because I've cheated and I've read it all the way through before I ask, we're going to talk about some of your videos, your most viewed videos. Do you know which one's your most viewed video?
I've not looked for a long time, but it used to be. There was a Game Room tour from, I think, 2012, which was like 40,000 views or something.
44,000 views on the Games Room tour. What was in that Games Room, Pete?
I have no idea. I need to watch it again, because I don't understand why it got that.
I was going to say, like normally, when you get your games view, your high views, it's the next video I'm going to go to. Actually, it's something that normally gets you high views, but a games room tour to get that many views is very impressive. Your next one
Is that the N64 one?
Yeah, the N64 NTSC
Yeah.
improved picture, 35,000 views.
It's such a bullshit video, and it still gets views. I still get comments every now and again. It always makes me laugh when I get a comment on a video from like 10 years ago. I'm like, I've got no idea what you're talking about.
You know what's worrying? YouTube seemed to churn out. Like everyone's been watching all my old videos when I used to have a perm because YouTube keeps recommending them. I watched one of Raz eating a pizza about 7 years ago the other day. That's very recommending. And then
Sorry, I was going to say I've got a couple of random videos which luckily never come up. One is where I saluted Naughty Dog. That's never come back up again. And the other one is the infamous one, which was give the finger to digital distribution, which was basically all of us giving the middle finger to digital gaming, which has now changed a lot because I'm now interested in Amico. So it's like.
And the next one's got 34,000 views, which was from 4 years ago.
Is that the Wii?
Closing door on retro.
Oh, that one. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I forgot about that. 2016. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
you want to talk about that video at all? Because obviously it's changed since then.
That was just pure frustration. I just completely lost the plot at that point, and I was just thoroughly pissed off. And I literally put no thought into that video. It was one of them where it was like the recent video I did about PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, the I don't give a shit video. It was like that. I literally just sat down and just went for it, and it's got a lot of views for some reason.
The one thing I will say with your channel and any video I've watched, especially your Ask Snestastic series, you're very open, you're very honest. You know,
too open.
But you're not, mate, because I prefer someone like you who's truthful and honest to yourself and represents yourself than someone who feeds me a load of bullshit. If I'm honest, you know.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, as someone who watches videos, I feel the same way. You know, that's why the people I watch, like yourself and like Jay and Dave and all of the others, just normal people. There's no veneer, basically.
No, I totally respect anyone who will go on and say what they think, regardless of what anyone else has their opinion on it. They hold their opinion and they talk about their opinion. And moving on to the next question from Stu.
Right.
For Pete and Dana, so he's asking me as well for a change. That's good. What are your views on YouTube in the current directions? Money, views, etc. Is it a good thing, or do you not give a shit? I'll let you go first.
All right. I mean, ultimately, I don't care because I'm still doing what I want to do. I don't make any money out of my channel. It's just purely for hobbyists and just for fun. And I like the fact that I've got the freedom to just make the video. I mean, who knows how long it's going to last? Maybe YouTube will get rid of us at one point and they'll have to find a new site. But for the time being, I can literally say what the hell I want within reason, of course, and not have to worry about sponsorship and all that. I mean, I do get emails. There's one company, I think they're in Brazil or something. They constantly send me emails saying, "Can we do a sponsorship?" And I just don't even reply, and they still keep sending me emails. And it's like, I'm not interested. I don't do all that shit on my channel. I don't criticize anyone for doing it. I mean, as a person, if I'm not speaking as a YouTuber, and I'm just speaking as Pete who watches videos, it does depend on the content I'm watching. Some of the content, it gets on my tits when, the constant, subscribe, ring the bell, put from this video up, blah, 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 buy my shit, go on my Patreon, do all this. It really, it's irritating as the ads, to be honest. The ads drive me more insane, but yeah, I don't like the way YouTube's gone, but that's just the way it is. Corporations have come in and took over, and you can't really blame YouTubers as well. A lot of people do it because they just want to make a buck, and I understand that. But some of them know how to sell a product, and a lot of them have got absolutely no idea, like most of us, and they don't know how to make the video where it doesn't piss off the viewer.
I mean, I'll be honest, if any company wanted to send me free shit, they can send it me, but I guarantee them I will increase their sales by 0%. Because
exactly. Yeah.
I know what Stu's saying. Like, I do YouTube because I enjoy it. Everyone talks about that like goal target of 1,000 subs, and I'm the same. I would love 1,000 subs purely because YouTube have locked out features. I mean, obviously you don't know you're over 1,000 subs. Stu's the same. they've locked out features to people under 1,000 subs. So
Oh,
it almost makes you want to get there. Like I can't do like it's called a community post. So if I wanted to advertise this
yeah.
stream as a post, I can't do that because I'm under 1,000 subs. If I wanted to do a live stream while I was out at the boot sale and I found something amazing, I wanted to do a live stream, I can't do that until I'm over 1,000 subs. So there is a motivation for me to get over 1,000 subs. I won't go down the cheap route of like doing sub for sub. I'll keep grinding at it, and I kind of think that's part of the YouTube game. I'll always watch. What I don't like is when someone's on YouTube and they expect me to go and watch their content and support them, but yet they don't fucking not. They might watch, but give me a comment. I don't. I'd rather have 100 views and 50 comments than 1,000 views and 10 comments, if that makes sense. Because it's all about the interaction and getting to know people and talking to people and stuff like that. That's my main goal with YouTube. You know, I don't want to make money out of this. I'll probably never make money out of this. I just purely want those 1,000 subs to unlock features to make it a more enjoyable experience for me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I want to say as well, clarify that I don't hate people who do all this stuff and hock all this crap and have Patreon and stuff. I don't give a shit. Do what you want to do. If that's what you want to do and that makes you happy and that's you want to make a career out of it, knock yourself out. Because over the years I've seen people. I'm not going to say the name of the channel, but there's a channel who started around the same time as me, who's absolutely huge now. And that guy was always saying to me, I used to private message with him, and he's a really nice guy. And I don't really watch his channel these days, but when I have watched the odd video, still just the same person. And he gets a lot of shit for him. And I think some of it's jealousy and some of it is just people just being miserable bastards and just complaining. And I think at the end of the day, if you don't like that kind of content, just don't watch it and watch us. Yeah. So.
I think Dylan once said it about me ages ago. Like, I won't just watch your video because I subscribe to you and I'm your friend. I will watch the video that interests me. And I'm happy for people to do that with me. Like, I know probably people don't like the shorts that I've done recently. You know, I don't expect people to watch me playing Truck Driver Simulator, you know what I mean? But I
agree completely with that, yeah.
I'd rather, like, they just watch what they're interested in and you know, and I do the same, you know. I don't know. I've always said this to Stu. I think they need to have like a YouTube split somewhere. You know, for all these guys who want to make money and some sort of content, have them sign up to something where they kind of have a contract with YouTube and they're like, I don't know, like a Netflix or YouTube Premium subscription where, you know, they're overexposed. And then just have like the hobby section, because we get buried by all those big channels now. Every one of us, you know. I think if you're probably under 100,000 subs, it's hard for you to compete with anyone who's over 100,000 subs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, easily.
And almost, if they want to call it YouTube amateur, I'm fucking more than happy with that. You know what I mean? I'd rather they add that split than
YouTube Lite. Yeah,
that's it. And then us get buried by a lot of clickbaity or just much bigger channels. That would. Or even if they almost made it like a catalogue, because we're all bundled in gaming at the moment. So you imagine like anyone who's playing Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone, you know, your big YouTubers over 1 million streaming daily, they're swamping and burying. Whereas if there was like a retro gaming one, like a little subsection, maybe that would make us all easier to find each other, sort of thing.
I mean, they could, like you say, premium. They could have it as well. That if you YouTube Premium, that you have a contract with YouTube for YouTube Premium, and therefore only people who sign up to that can have like ads on the videos and monetize and whatnot. And the rest of us, we don't have to deal with any of that shit. We can just put our videos up ad free. Because I don't have ads on my channel. I was going to say as well, like you say about only watching the videos you want to watch. I'm like that. I only watch what I want to watch. And you know, to me, it's like if someone got offended by that, well, that's tough shit. I'm still your mate. It makes no difference to me. If I don't like, if I'm watching somebody and they suddenly put up a video about someone I've got absolutely no interest in it, I'm not going to sit there for 30 minutes and watch that. And the same with my channel. My content has gone a different direction lately, and I'm not doing the videos I used to do. And I'm focusing, like I've always done, I'm focusing on something that I actually really love and I'm really passionate about and interested in. And you know, it's not fake. It's just me. And anyone who knows me, like Tootie knows me, he's known me for a long time. You know, go back to like the Wii U. I was passionate about that. Go back to the Xbox One when that got announced and everyone was slagging it off and how shit it was. And there's me doing an E3 reaction going, oh, it's brilliant that was. And then I go online and everybody's like, oh, they're bastards and they won't let me share my games. And and I'm like, fuck, messed that up then. So,
But you didn't know, because you could have quite easily watched all those other people's reactions and changed your reaction. Whereas really, that was your opinion. And I almost think someone's own opinion is more valid than like the collective opinion, because if you go on somewhere like Twitter or like you say, if it was like a live Facebook reveal, it becomes an echo chamber. After the first 3 people say it's shit, another 10 people then say it's shit, then another 20, and everyone's always agreeing with each other. Whereas you've come out and you've had your own opinion, and I've got much more time for someone who has their own opinion rather than agreeing with the crowd, sort of thing. If that makes sense, if that's what they believe. That's what they believe, and that they will say it, sort of thing.
I wasn't sure. I don't know if you've seen it, but I did a video. I don't give a shit about PS5 and Xbox, and I wasn't sure how that video was going to get down because I just went off on one. I don't usually do that, but I was so pissed off after seeing the Xbox reveal. And if you know me like Tootie knows me, and a lot of other people on here know me, have known me for multiple years now. That's just the person I am. I love gaming. I love consoles. I've been playing them for bloody nearly 40 years now, and so when a new console comes out, I'm the first one to be like, as I say with the Xbox, oh, it's going to be brilliant. Wii U is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be the next best thing. It's going to be kick some ass. And it failed, but I still was truthful about what I thought about it. And so for me to come out and say, I don't give a shit about the PlayStation and the Xbox, is quite a big deal, actually, because normally I'd be the first in the queue. I'd be pre-ordering.
I remember, I don't know if we were in a WhatsApp group when we were, because obviously I watched the PS5 reveal and stuff like that, and people were talking and saying, and I watched it, and I was massively underwhelmed.
GTA 5.
Because I was, well, it wasn't even the games. I was looking at it graphically from my PS4 Pro. Thinking, you've not blown me away here. I realistically wasn't going to get, if PS5 and COVID hadn't happened, PS5 was readily available, I was happy to wait 12 months like I do with most consoles to get one. It just so happened that because of COVID, I had the money to buy one at launch, but couldn't get one. But I was looking at it and I was thinking, there's nothing that I'm... Because, again, they showed a lot of the cutscenes, which it's graphically impressive anyway. If I showed you the cutscenes on a PS4 Pro, you'd be impressed. I wanted to see the gameplay footage, and what I saw was not that huge. But then again, I don't even know what I was expecting, because I find it hard now for them to get much graphically better without it looking super real, and I don't think we're a long way from like getting something looking that real, a long way away. But I think we're in, like, the jumps now are tiny. Like if you look at the jump from the Mega Drive to the PS1 and then the PS1 to the PS2, and even from the PS2 to the PS3, they were huge. And again, whereas the jump from the 4 to the 5, it just didn't blow my mind, and it didn't make me think, you know what, I need to get 550 quid and buy this on launch day.
I think the problem is me and you have both got the Pro as well, and because they got that half step, you got the extra power. So when you go to the PlayStation 5, it's like another half step. It's not like going from a PS4 to a PS5. And I don't know. I mean, I'd have to compare it like a PS4 original to a PS5 to see the difference. But you're right. I said in my video, I thought the games, nothing interested me. It was the same old shit. They went and did Horizon Zero Dawn 2, and then they did a game which I can't remember the name of, with some little girl with a bow staff, and it looked like a kiddie version of bloody Horizon Zero Dawn. Then they had Astro Bot, which is an absolutely phenomenal VR game. And what do? They stick it on the machine as a sodding tech demo for the controller with no VR support. Well, that's bollocks. And then on top of that, they've got the bloody cheek to bring out Little Big Planet, Sackboy's Big Adventure, which is a cut and paste of Astro Bot with a bleeding Sackboy. And I'm like, you want me to pay 450 quid to play a Spider-Man game that if I put on my PS4 Pro and the Sackboy game on my PS4 Pro, and you put them side by side, only bullshitters will be able to tell you there's a difference between the two, because there isn't. Yeah.
I'm totally with you 100% there, Pete.
It's a shame.
Back to the old Amico with this next question. Is Bitmap Brothers still involved with Amico? That's from Scott Sega Zombie.
As I said earlier, Mike, I can't remember his last name, but Mike is one of the founding members. He's doing a family game at the moment called Liar's Dice, which there is actually part of the gameplay trailer on the television YouTube channel. You can see it on there. and he's doing that first of all. And Tommy's in discussions with him because, as I say, they sold a lot of their licenses, so they will have to either make the games they have got licenses for, or make games that look a lot like the old Speedball 2s and the Chaos engine, which is the one I'm really hoping for. But yes, they are working with them.
I think I'm like nearly half an hour behind with the comments because of that lag I had behind. So
one other quick one as well.
I will catch the questions. Time Warp James, good evening. What content do you enjoy most producing these days, and where do you see your channel in a few years, mate? So are you going for the full 15 years on YouTube?
That's a good question. James is a great guy, by the way. Him and Flashback. If no one's checked out Flashback, TNT, and also Time Warp James, please do, because they're relatively new and they haven't been around that much, but they're absolutely great content makers and really, really nice guys as well. Well, content-wise, at the moment, it's Amico all the way. I love being out when they put out new videos, being able to do reactions to those and talk about, because I'm so excited about it. As I say, I'd rather put out a video about something I'm really passionate about than just do a pickup video and go, here's some retro games that actually I don't give a shit about. I bought them and I regret buying them and I shouldn't be collecting, and I'm just doing this video because that's what I've been doing for the last decade and you guys like. So, I'd rather just make the content that I want to make. And I don't expect, especially at the moment, because Amico is so unknown in this country. America, it's not massive in America yet, but it's getting there because there's a lot more people talking about it and interviewing Tommy. But I understand that I'm assuming, and no one said this to me, but I'm assuming when I put my first Amico video up, that most people probably saw that and go, what the fuck is an Amico? So I'm hoping that tonight I've helped at least to spark some interest, that people are going to go and check it out. But that's going to be most of my content. That's not going to be everything, because I think going forward, I was going to say talk about modern games, but to be fair, I haven't bought any for a while. So if I do, I've done that in the past where I'll just talk about a game that I've enjoyed.
Snestastic, is that going to come back?
No, that's not coming back now. That's dead in the water. Yeah, I'm trying to be a little bit more reserved these days. Because you look at some of the titles of those videos. I actually had a video taken down the other day by YouTube because of one of the titles, bastards. So,
you know what? Was it a wording or something? Because YouTube is clamping down on everything. I mentioned in my last video, don't put Jap, because YouTube hates the word Jap.
Is that racism?
Yeah, because the American in this country we use it as an abbreviation for Japanese. But in America they used it as a derogatory term. I'm guessing we're going back to World War II here. So that gets cut down. I've noticed recently YouTube are pretty hot on censoring the comments for sure.
Well, the video got, I'm pretty sure it did get taken down because I had a message. The reason was the title had sex dolls written in it, so I probably didn't help.
No, I can kind of understand that one. Stuart's finally asked the question I've been waiting for him to ask all night.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I was waiting for this one.
If you had to live with one YouTuber's house, that's any other YouTuber, not your best mate, who would it be and why? And it's a month period. We spoke on last video. It's a month period you got to live with them for.
Right. Well, I've got a question for Tootie as well while we're answering this. Is who's my best mate? Is it Retro Dave or something?
I don't know, but I think you got that copied and pasted somewhere.
Right.
Copies and paste it every week.
To be honest, I would probably say Jay, Cybersnake, because he'd be really easy to live with, and also he's got a lot of my original American Super Nintendo games, and he's got a massive collection, so I could just sit in front of his beard and play SNES games.
I'll tell you what, I've been to Jay's house, obviously, because I've done deals with him. That room looks a lot bigger on camera than when you go in there. He's done brilliantly with that space. Like when I stepped in there, I was like, is this the same place you video in? Because he looks massive on these videos, but yeah, he's done brilliant with that space, and it's such a lovely games room, to be fair.
He's such a top lad, Jay. I really like Jay. Got a lot of time for him.
Yeah, great guy. I mean, I'll give him lifts to events and stuff in the past. And as I say, I've got that game in my car and I'm going to drop it off for him the weekend.
I was just going to say, I forgot to mention earlier, when was it Scott that was asking about Sega Zombies, asking about Bitmap Brothers?
Yes.
I think it was, yeah. Also, Factor 5, who do Turrican, they've been in talks with them for quite a while, so that's another one they're working with.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Talking of interesting, Nintendo Arcade, what handheld game do you take to the bog?
I don't play handheld, Alex, but at the moment it's Moon Patrol on the Amico app. I'm always playing Moon Patrol. And I know Alex has got the, I don't know what it's called on the Vectrex, it's got a different name, but he's got the Vectrex version, hasn't he? And it might interest Alex to know as well, if the Amico is successful, this is the reason, another reason Alex should buy one besides high score chasing, is that if it's successful, Tommy wants to get the license for Vectrex and make a brand new Vectrex. So, which he talks about in my interview.
We need to make sure that's shared in all the Vectrex community groups. Addy Sneaker Freak wants to know, do you still have the book that he sent you ages ago? No, he sold it on eBay for a load of money.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Steve, that was the one about the history of video games, which I do have. It's in my game room.
So you still have got it? It's not been resold. You can confirm.
No, not at all. No, it's in there. It's in there. The rest of my books.
I'm just scrolling through to catch up with the comments now. Raz is in the house. Hello, Raz. How are you? A lot of people talking amongst themselves. They're taking the piss out of me for being miles behind with the comments, but I'm caught up now. We've got no more questions so far, so I can get back to what I was doing before. So, as I said, originally you started off doing your collections of your videos, and then you did a series called Giving Your Opinion. Which
my opinion.
Yeah. So just tell anyone who's not watched them, because I might go back and watch them, because what are your opinion on sort of thing like?
I can't remember, but I know I did one. I think it was like a Sega versus Nintendo one, and it was just basically just like that sort of thing, just like like SNES versus Mega Drive, which one's better. It was just something. Back then, I'd literally just make a video about anything that went into my head, just to try it and see what had happened, see what the reaction was going to be, which is where the SNES stuff come from as well.
So that was like Snestastic's infancy, then, your opinion sort of thing, like. Yeah,
absolutely. I literally, as I say, it was very community driven back then. You'll see videos. There's a guy in New York I used to know called Steve. He doesn't make videos anymore. He was called Back Forward Punch. Really top bloke. I think he lived in Brooklyn. And there's a random video where I'm showing cereal. Now there's no context, but it was something we've been talking about in the comments. And I was like doing a video going, Steve, this is what I've been eating. And people are going to be like, what?
Brilliant. Interesting comment from Nerdy Geezer. Odyssey is another YouTube style platform up and coming. I don't see anyone coming and taking out YouTube, a bit like how Facebook took out MySpace.
Yeah.
I think that because they're Google owned and it's such a big platform now,
that's the problem, isn't it?
I don't think anyone's going to take them on and take them out, sort of thing.
But then you get like eBay. Someone needs to take them out because they're ridiculous. And you're starting to see, like, there's an advert at the moment on TV for selling clothes, a thing called Vintage, where you don't pay fees. So they're starting to get things where you don't pay fees, which is brilliant because eBay's a total con. But yeah, I think you're right with Google. They've sort of got a monopoly in a way, and that's not a good thing.
See, I was selling on eBay, but I've stopped now because they've made me go on to manage payments. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. So basically,
is that the new payment where they take the fee first? I've just gone onto that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what they do is it doesn't go into my PayPal, which annoys me. It goes straight into my bank.
But it only takes 2 days.
But what I like about it staying in my PayPal is almost I'm selling stuff to buy for my collection.
So you can build the money up. Yeah.
So I'll build it up, buy something.
Yeah.
I don't want it going in my bank because I've always tried to keep my funds for my collection separate.
Yeah.
To my bills and everything. And the moment it hits my bank, I won't want to spend it, if you know what I mean. And
yeah, you want to store it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And also, I mean, I know it works out a fraction cheaper to do it paid management, but it's Google's conny way of making a lot of money because what they do is, whereas PayPal was instant, I used to get my money instant, Google are holding that money for days to be released. So you imagine how many million sellers they have if they make just a penny each day off them. And
if you work out the fees as well, because I worked it out, because I was like, they say like, oh, you don't have to pay the PayPal fee, so it's better for you. But they still take 14%. You get 4% from PayPal, 10% from eBay. And with this new system, eBay just take 14%. So it's kind of pointless.
Yeah. But I think they're going to lose a lot of the casual sellers off eBay. Unless you're doing it full-time as a business, you'll probably carry on. But they'll lose a lot of casual sellers. And what they need to be careful of is now PayPal's got no home. Somewhere like Facebook Marketplace could then pick them up.
Yeah. And Marketplace is really good.
But could you imagine Facebook Marketplace if you put stuff for the price that it was worth, and it got sold and it was paid for, it was secure.
Yeah.
You wouldn't need eBay. It would be almost better than eBay sort of thing.
But you need something really that brings the prices down as well, because there's a lot of twats on eBay lately. Look at Super Nintendo stuff, and Jesus, man. There's one guy on there at the moment, and I'm absolutely convinced that his SNES collection, he doesn't want to sell it, and his wife's trying to force it, because his prices are so extortionate, I swear to God.
He'll go, yeah, I'm definitely selling it. I'm definitely selling it.
It literally sells games for like 200 or 300 quid more than what they're worth, and they're like absolutely pristine, but it's like they're never going to sell. So it's got to be the wife just going, oh, you need to get rid of that shit.
I've just got a quick question that I need to answer because it's from Steve. Question for Dane: are you going to get Alex Blue Tonic on? Good lad.
What a great question. Yeah.
I very first lockdown when I was doing all my streams, I did message Alex and we spoke about it. It's just the time difference that's a massive problem for it. I will message.
That's what he says.
That's what he says. I will message him. I'll message him this weekend, and I'll see what he says. I'll try and get him on, but I did try last time. If it means I have to go a little bit later, I can do it when it's on a weekend night. As long as you bastards all stay up and watch it, that's all I ask there. I did message Alex about it first lockdown.
I like when Alex used the time difference as an excuse. I've been on Amico All Access at 1 o'clock in the morning till 3:30, so yeah.
Okay. Is he on there, is he? Oh, you on there?
Me, yeah, I'm on there. Well, I haven't been on it for a while because I took a break, but I mean, yeah, I need to get back on it.
That's how I thought, because I watch it because that Open Every Box Pete, he's into the Evercade. So I was just naturally, because sometimes if I don't sleep on a night late, I'll hang out in a gaming stream and just listen to the content and what's going on. And then
I was surprised to see you there, actually. When I was in there last weekend, and suddenly I was looking at the chat, and then Dainster comes up, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
I get everywhere. I do. Another good question from Time Warp James. As you mentioned, James is a great guy. I thought he did brilliantly on VHS Bootleggers wrestling chat last night. He very knowledgeable, brilliant guest to have on there. I hope he carries on. It's a question for me and you. I'll always let you go first, Pete, though.
Okay.
Can you see yourself collecting anything out of the ordinary or getting into other stuff in the future other than gaming related?
Not collecting, no. I don't, to be honest, gaming is the only thing I collect. I buy stuff and people would class it like vinyl records, people would class that as a collection. But I don't, because to me collecting is what I was doing when I started buying vinyl, which was going around the car boots and coming back with like 50 albums and thinking, Jesus Christ, what have I done this for? And I just chuck them down a charity shop, and now I only buy brand new albums because they're really expensive, and that way I only buy what I want. And the same with films. I've always bought films ever since like 1999 when Play.com and PlayUSA.com.
Play.com?
Yeah, back in the day. Shout out. I used to buy all the old Region 1 DVDs and everything, import them.
Didn't that become like a German name site after?
Is it Roku? Not Roku. That's a bloody streaming service. It's something with an R in it.
Yes. I can't think what it's called, but I remember it changed, and they must have bought them out.
Yeah, that was a great site back in the day. So yeah, I don't think. Yeah, absolutely. And so they used to have the split, then they had the Play.com for the PAL stuff, and then the American stuff was PlayUSA.com, and I think they eventually just put it all on one site. But yeah, the very first DVD we ever got was the Mummy, when my mum and dad bought a DVD player.
So yeah, said what it is. I'll just highlight it.
That's it, Rakuten. That's the one. Nice one.
It reminds me, Barcelona used to have a sponsor very similar sort of name to that, and I couldn't think of what it was. But yeah, so nothing other than the vinyl, you reckon, Pete?
No, I mean, as I say, I've got music like vinyl and CDs, but that's just stuff I've been buying since I was a kid. And the same with films, I've been buying them since '99. So I've never seen any of that as collecting. I don't really think there isn't anything I can think of that I actually want to collect. Yeah, unless I start a new SNES collection, but yeah.
As for me, the one good thing, the only other thing I'd probably collect was toys, and the fact that I sell at the toy events allows me to scratch that itch, if you know what I mean. So I buy the toys in bulk to sell, but I also get to have a look at them, a little bit of a feel of them, and then move them on. It scratches that itch for me. so I don't need to have them all in a cab. See, because collecting toys is a funny one because they just sit and stand, don't they? Whereas with games, I have some interaction with them. So a while ago, I used to have both, and I just decided I've only got the space for one. I have to concentrate on the one. I'm saying this as I've got 3 werebears behind me in the cupboard, in the background, but I'll concentrate on the games because I get a more enjoyment per item, if that makes sense. Whereas if I get a toy, I'll look at it, I'll hold it, and I'll put it up to stand, and my enjoyment's gone. Now, I'll get people who collect toys because they look brilliant when displayed properly. But the only other thing I would collect would be toys, and I don't need to do that because I get the interaction out of the toy that I need by when I buy them and move them on, sort of thing. Because it would be dangerous because I do have a collecting habit.
Yeah, we all do. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got the same personality type, really, haven't we? So,
I was even talking to Dad about it today on the way back because we were talking about Mum, and I say, Mum made me the way I am because Mum was the same. Like, Mum collected thimbles, she collected the Toby jugs. She used to like to collect stuff, and I think that goes back to when she was younger and like she was quite a big family. She didn't have a lot of money growing up, so when she got older, she used to like to have collections and possessions, and like she almost not pushed it on me, but if I bought something, I didn't just have one of them. Right, you'd have the action figures with a set of 20 on the back.
Yeah,
I'd have to get the 20.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd have them all. That's it, and that's the sort of like habit that my mum had that I've obviously took into older age. But the way I see it is there's a lot. I'm not taking the rent money. I'm not taking my. I'm not in debt. This is all my extra play money that I've chose to spend how I like, sort of thing.
Yeah, I've learned something about myself over the last couple of years. Is the fact that when I take an interest in something, I really take an interest in it, and it's not like I can watch a video and that's the end of it. I like the Amico. I watch every single day. I'm looking for new content, new interviews. I watch new YouTubers, and I'm just constantly trying to absorb as much information as I can to try and learn. And in terms of toys as well, by the way, I did get tempted to start getting into masks at one point because that's my favourite. And I've got 2 mask cars at the moment. Well, I've got a car and a bike. I've got Condor and not Jackhammer. It's the black one in it. I can't remember what the green one's called.
I know which one you mean. The like a teal greeny coloured one.
Yeah. Where you twist the top and the gun comes out the front and it jumps up. Yeah, I've got that one. Condor's broken, unfortunately. His windshield's bust, but it's easy to cheap. It's cheap enough. But I remember seeing it a few years ago when I started getting them. I was watching a few Americans and they had them in the box and stuff. And the one guy in his room, he had them all laid out on the IKEA unit, and he had like all the nice boxes. He had like the mountain thing that they used to drive up to the fortress thing. He had all the Matt Tracker's lorry, and he had all the different vehicles. I was like, that's really tempting. There's a guy that used to be on YouTube years ago. I haven't seen him for a long time, called Big Daddy Darth. Really great guy in America. He was a massive toy collector, and he used to sit in front of the camera, and he's just surrounded by figures, and it's just unreal. The He-Man collection was great.
See, I'm one of these. When it comes to box toys, they look brilliant, but to appreciate a toy, it has to be out of the box. I get all these. It's almost a little bit different with the action figure because you can still see it in the thing. But like as you say, like the mask figures and the big play sets, they need to be out and be visualized to appreciate. Or that's my personal opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, I love to own them all boxed, but to appreciate them, especially like the mask vehicles, as you say, with the transformations and stuff like that.
Really cool. I was looking as well, because you might know about this being a toy guy. Do you remember a cartoon called Centurions?
Yes, Power Extreme.
That's the one.
Jake Rockwell, rugged land technician, Ace McLeod, and Max Ray. Yeah, I know him.
Which one's the guy with the big porno moustache in the green? He's my favourite.
In the green, that is Max Ray, the underwater guy.
I love that show. That was brilliant. I really because I don't know. I don't know if it was Kenner that made them, but I know in America you can buy figures, but I've never seen them over here, so I don't know if you can get them.
I've sold them complete.
Have you?
Lots of money. You're talking close. For a complete one, loose, you're talking £70-80.
Oh, okay, I'm not buying it.
I'll tell you what, Pete, I might have just the loose figure on its own, and if I do in the loft, If it's the green one, it's yours. I might have the yellow one, which is Jake Rockwell. Because Loose, the figure it's all about because like in the cartoon they do that and everything clips on.
Yeah.
It's all about those parts that clip on, and I've got a couple of different play sets for them, which are worth a lot of money. But the Loose figure on its own, you can probably get for £10. Just the
Do they
Loose.
fully transform then?
Oh god, the only way I can explain them is they got little circles in them, which you clip each part on, like so they.
Okay.
If you get a chance when this is finished, you can look the toy line up. There's
That's
loads.
not wise.
Actually, no, don't. Just look at them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just look at them and appreciate them. But there is lots of accessories that you can clip onto them and all that. A brilliant toy line. Really, really good.
I need to watch the cartoon again. I mean, a few years ago, I bought the sealed complete mask, and I still ain't bloody watched it yet.
Have you not? I've got down here. Let me get them out. These were beautiful. I picked these up from the boot sale. The complete series of He-Man.
Oh, nice. I've still got one of my original VHSs of that.
Like they're a lovely box set. These are. They're the American region, but obviously I can play them. And the only other complete set I've got is Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, nice.
And I bought. You know where I got that from? I think I got that off Play.com.
Oh right. Oh, that's even better.
I've had it that long because it was definitely early 2000s ago because I lent it to my best mate one of my best mates who I still speak to. He lent it off me and he actually watched it all before I did.
Are those He-Man, are they remastered with 16:9 or are they just still the 4.3?
Let me have a look. It doesn't say on the back. These are definitely what's it called though? They're the NTSC version.
Yeah. Is it region 3 or is it locked?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, because I know a lot of TV shows with region 1. There's a show I like called Castle, and I've got all them on region 1. They just play underneath it. Yeah,
I've played these and watched these, so they play on most DVDs now. It's not like early days.
Right.
But these box sets are much nicer than what we got in the PAL region. The PAL region box sets are really boring and horrible. But I've got the full set of He-Man because I was massive into He-Man, Thundercats as well as a kid. And the real Ghostbusters. They were the three main ones I was into as a kid.
That's the sort of passed me by the real Ghost. I know Dave likes that, doesn't he, Retro?
I don't know if this is a question or a statement. I had to put a lot of my collectibles in the loft. But why breaking them? Now, was that accidentally breaking them or she wanted that shit out the way? That's what I'm guessing.
That's brilliant, that is.
I don't know if he put it in capitals because he meant it as a question or he was just angry typing it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. We've got no more questions and we're coming into the last 5 minutes, Pete. So okay. I'm going to give you the last 5 minutes to tell everyone now why they should buy an Amico. But first, you've got to answer this question because it's just popped up as I was talking.
Brilliant.
Yes or no?
Absolutely. If it's real and she is being held under duress, then absolutely free Brittany. Hashtag free Brittany.
Brilliant. So last 5 minutes before we have a sign out, tell people why they should get an Amico and why you think they should.
Well, I think really it depends on what you're looking for as an experience. If you're like me, you've got no family and you just want simple fun games like throwbacks to the old days, like with Moon Patrol, Night Stalker, Astro Smash. You just want something you just kick back with, play for half an hour, play something else. Just not get totally involved like you do with AAA games. It's a great system. If you've got a family and you're sick and tired of your family sitting in the same room with you and you're not actually together, you're just in the same room, you're on different devices, and you'd rather have the kids and the wife play with you as well. Perfect. Amico will do that for you. If you're sick and tired of paying silly high prices for video games, the games are £10 for a digital copy. If you want to go physical, they're only going to be 20 quid. Another bargain. They're going to have a variety of games as well, so there's always going to be something for everyone to play. You've got party games when you're having beers. But really, ultimately, I think it's not really for me to try and sell the system. I'm already sold on it, and I will be buying one. So I think really, if you're going to have any interest at all, just go over to the Intellivision YouTube channel, check it out, watch the videos, see what you think. Just be aware that obviously they do say in the videos as well that games are in development, but a lot of people just seem to ignore that. But yeah, it's a really fun ride to be on. And Tommy Tallarico is a really nice guy, very down to earth. As Dana said, he's incredibly open as well. As long as you're polite and respectful, he'll talk to absolutely anyone, and he has done. So check out some of his interviews as well. You can check out the one on my channel, or you can check out the many interviews he's done on YouTube. But yeah, I think the Amico is going to be a massive success. I'm really looking forward to playing it, and hopefully, somebody out there will want to go and have a look at it and buy one. You never know. Not my place to sell it to you. It's your choice.
Brilliant. All I'd add is I'd say, if you want to get involved in a console that's designed by people who've worked in the gaming industry and have a genuine interest in the gaming industry and don't seem to be just trying to make a quick buck, go out and do what Pete's done. Do your research. Take in every opinion you can. Do some reading up. Watch your videos. Get involved with the live streams and the chat. If you're genuinely interested, just go and check it out, because I think a lot of the hate comes because we've become conditioned to Sony, Nintendo, Xbox, and anything that seems slightly inferior in quality of graphics, people will trash and bash. And that's just the way it is. And that's maybe because they're just modern gamers and they've got no interest in going back. But someone who, like in the retro game community, if you're interested in, the one thing you said, something that you can pick up for half an hour and put down, and it doesn't really matter. I get a lot of stick because I'm not into such big AAA games like The Last of Us and all that. It's because, let's be honest, I've not got that fucking time in my life anymore. I spend 8 hours a day working. I have to eat, I have to bath, I have to shit occasionally. I ain't got all this time to fucking sit and put all those hours in a game. So if that game doesn't grasp me in the first 2 hours, it's probably not going to grasp me in the 90th hour. And that's why, I cut the throats of some of these AAA games. If they'd not bought me in straight away, I'm done. I'm moving on. That's just the way I think. But everyone's saying, what a great stream and a pleasure to have you on. And I want to say exactly the same, really. So I literally asked you to come on last week, so thank you for coming on. I was hoping you'd come on because I really enjoyed the chat we had the first time, and with the whole Amico thing, I thought I was bringing something different to the guys who are in the chat, so something different they can listen to, something different we can all talk about and have different opinions on. So I just want to say to you, Pete, thank you for coming on, and thank you on everyone who's been in the comments. So before we sign off, Pete, a message from you to everyone who's been watching or who's going to watch this stream back.
Right, okay. Well, yeah, basically, first of all, stay safe. 2 meters apart, wear your masks, get your vaccines. But most of all, really, just thank you everyone who's joined in the stream tonight, who's asked questions. Thank you to everyone that watching my channel as well. I really do appreciate that, as you all know. And, thank you, Dana, for having me on as well. That really matters. I was happy to jump on. I'll talk to anyone. I'm quite happy to do that. And it's been a really fun 2 hours, and it's gone really fast as well, which is fantastic. So, thanks, guys. There's not much more I can say.
Brilliant, Pete. Everyone, Addy Sneak Freak saying it's good to see you well. And I know there's a lot of people who've watched you for a long time who have said a lot of positive comments, especially about you coming to the event. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can do that again. That'll be great. I'm just going to drop you backstage while I do my sign out, Pete.
Okay, cool.
Cheers. Thank you again for coming on, mate.
No worries, mate.
Right, so I hope you've all just nipped over to Argos or Amazon and ordered your Amico. But in all seriousness, it's great to see someone like Pete who, he puts his heart on something and he lets you all know what his opinion is. He'll tell you his opinion. It's up to you to make your own mind up. But he's clearly passionate about the Amico. As he said, he was passionate about the Wii U. Okay, he probably got some stick back then when it wasn't as successful, but the Wii U is a system that's fondly looked back on now by many people. So I just want to thank him for coming on. I hope you've all enjoyed a little bit of different chat. I know it's not all been retro. A lot of talk about the Amico, but it's something I wanted to learn about, and I purposely didn't watch a lot. I've watched a few bits, as obviously because I was talking to Pete about them, but I wanted to learn as we go along, and I must admit he said a few things that have piqued my interest. So with that said, I'm going to probably go and have a look at a few more Amico gameplay videos now, and I want to thank you all for watching, and as always, don't have nightmares, do sleep well. Goodbye, YouTube.